Hello friends, welcome to massive open online course on state and local governance, machinery and processes. In continuation to my earlier talk on constitutional system, let's take another talk on state administration, and that's pertaining how the state administration has evolved in India. I have divided this talk into 5 parts. First of all, I would like to introduce about the state administrative system. In the second part, we will discuss about the system of administration during the ancient period. In the third part, we will discuss about the during the Mughal period. In the fourth part, we will discuss about the evolution and growth of state administration during the British period. In the fifth part, we will discuss about the changes or the system we have evolved and established after the independence. So, let's take up the introduction that is the first part. As all of you know that during the ancient periods there was a monarchical system of governance. It means that the powers of administering an empire or a state or a specified area were vested in a centralized authority, that is the king. We have many evidences in Ramayana, Mahabharata, Manu Samriti, Sukraniti, etc. It has been said that Manu Satyavarta was the first king and the progenitor of mankind as per Hindu philosophy, and he played an important role of a neutral judge or an arbitrator to solve the issues creating anarchy in society. The king was considered to be divine and descendant of God. He looked after the society by providing justice on the basis of wisdom and the philosophical understanding. He was also considered to be responsible for ensuring mutual benefits. The people paid certain fees in return of this service, which later on was termed as the tax. During the ancient period, the Kautilya was of the opinion that the state is an institutional necessity, particularly for maintaining, number one, for maintaining land order, number two, for protecting subjects, number three, for punishing those who violate the law or do not behave in conformity to law, traditions or customs of the society. The empire was divided into the provinces. The central province, which was under the control of the king, was known as home provinces. All provinces were divided into the districts, and the districts are composed of villages. It has also been said that there used to be one intermediate level of governance or intermediate level of administration in between the district and villages. The administration was departmentalized. It means that whole of the administration was divided into certain departments. Departments were organized on the basis of the services to be delivered to the people. There was one principle which was used to organize the departments, that the administrative unit must be closer to the people where the services is to be delivered. There have also been evidences indicating that there was an army of officials, and that army of officials was organized in different hierarchical levels. And from the Chola kingdom, there is an example that they used to keep the governmental records. The provinces were placed under the charge of a controlling officer who known as the governor or the viceroy. The governor or the viceroy was appointed by the king, and he was reporting to the king. In other words, we can say the viceroy or the governor was responsible to the king, because that is the appointing authority, and since it was a monarchical system. Let's now discuss the state administrative system during the Mughal period. During this period, the administration was highly centralized, and it was centralized in the office of the king. He was mainly responsible for maintaining law and order, for safeguarding the king's interest from internal uprising and revolt, to defend and extend the boundaries of the empire and collect revenue and taxes. The provincial or state administration was under the control of the Subedar or the governor. He was appointed by the king and was given an official insignia and an instrument of instruction. The instrument of instruction was there to define the responsibilities of the Subedar and the powers assigned to discharge those responsibilities. The provincial governor was responsible for maintaining law and order in the province. He was also responsible for the local intelligence and controlling the local jamidars. There was another parallel office of provincial diwan. He was responsible for the revenue collection and other civil matters of the state, or that is of the provinces. And both of these offices, that is the provincial Sobedar and the provincial diwan, were independent to each other but accountable to the king. They were under the control of the king, but the provincial diwan was appointed by the king and he was responsible for the tax collections and other civil matters at the state level or the provincial level. The provincial diwan was independent of the Subedar. In actual, the Subedar and the provincial diwan were independent to each other. Provincial diwan was under the control of royal diwan at the central government level, whereas the Subedar was responsible to the king directly. So this was the system of the state administration or provincial administration during the Mughal period. Let's discuss about the evolution and growth of the state administration in a very brief manner. The East India Company and the British government, although established the rule in India, but the areas under the control was under three presidencies. Initially established at Calcutta in Bengal, Madras and Bombay. In 1836, the Northwest Province was set up and placed under the Lieutenant Governor. Thereafter, Punjab was established in 1849, similarly Awadh in 1856, Central Province in 1861, Assam in 1874, Northwest Frontier Province NWFP in 1901, United Province of Agra and Awadh in 1901, Bihar in 1912 and Sindh in 1936. Odisha was established in 1936. These provinces were placed under the governor. There were 6 chief commissioner provinces, namely British Balochistan, Delhi, Ajmer Merwada, Coorg, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Panth Piploda. These were some of the development, but as you know that the Government of India Act 1919 and Government of India Act 1935 has strengthened the process of state administration during the British period. In the post-independence period, the evolution or reorganization of the state has taken place. How it has taken place? Let's discuss about that. First of all, I would like to share with you that at the time of independence, there were 9 provinces, namely Madras, Bombay, West Bengal, the United Province, Bihar, East Punjab, the Central Province, Assam and Odisha. And there were 5 chief commissioners provinces, Delhi, Ajmer Merwada, Coorg, Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Panth Piploda. At the time of adoption of Constitution on 26th January 1950, the states were classified into Part A, Part B, Part C and Part D states. The Part A states were those provinces which were under the rule of the governor. Part B were those provinces which were under the princely states. Part C states were chief commissioners' provinces. The Part D state was Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The total number of all four categories of states were 29. At the time when we were framing our constitution, a need was felt to reorganize these states because of historical demand and administrative convenience. The demand for the formation of state during that period before the adoption of the constitution was on linguistic basis, and it was raised before the Constituent Assembly, and as a result of that demand, a commission was constituted in June 1948. The commission was entrusted with the responsibility to reorganize the state. The commission was under the chairmanship of S. Kedar. The commission reported, I am quoting, "In forming the province, the emphasis should be primarily on administrative convenience and homogeneity of language will enter into consideration only as a matter of administrative convenience and not by its independent force." It means that language or the linguistics should not be the sole criteria or main criteria for the reorganization of states. The supporter of the formation of state on linguistic consideration disappointed with the recommendation of this commission. The Andhra Pradesh state was created in 1953 on Tamil-Telugu divide. It was despite the fact that the government was not interested to reorganize the state on linguistic consideration alone. But there was a demand to reorganize the state, and particularly keeping in view the size of the Andhra Pradesh that was divided into two states. The demand to reorganize the states on linguistic consideration continued. The Prime Minister was not in favor of linguistic based reorganization of the states, as the national integration was important at that point of time. But there was a persistence of that demand to reorganize the state. As a result of that, the government announced to constitute another commission on 29th December 1953. Fazal Ali was made as its chairman. Another member was H.N. Kunjru and K.M. Panikar. The report of this commission is popularly known as the State Reorganization Commission report. The report concluded that the national unity should be regarded as the primary consideration for redrawing the country's political units. The commission rejected the theory of one language, one state, but recognized linguistic homogeneity as an important factor conducive to administrative convenience and efficiency. It accepted the idea that the political divisions of the union or the government be redrawn, generally in accordance with the linguistic demands. It recommended for creating 16 states and 3 centrally sponsored areas. Subsequently, State Reorganization Act 1953 was passed in July 1956, which led to the passing of Constitution 7th Amendment Act 1956. The amendment amended the first schedule of the Constitution and it came into force in November 1956. The amendment created 14 states and 6 union territories instead of 16 states and 3 centrally administered areas as recommended by State Reorganization Commission report. Thereafter, the annexation of Goa, Daman and Diu in 1961 that made to pass another constitutional amendment act, that is the 12th Constitutional Amendment Act in 1962, and the process continued to set up 29 states in the country. Let's sum up this discussion. The process of the creation, addition and reorganization of states in India is determined by certain factors. First of all, we can say that it was an administrative efficiency. The second is the linguistic homogeneity, which also determines the administrative efficiency of the government. Number 3, the development needs of the society, particularly of the backward areas. These have been the compelling factors. No doubt the political consideration and the size or the area of the state has also been instrumental in creating the new states. With this deliberation, I hope you have been able to understand about the process of evolution of administration in Indian context. In the next talk on this issue, that is on state administration, we will discuss about the constitutional context of the state administration and we will discuss about the different components of the states. So till then, wish you a happy learning. Thank you very much.